Tomorrow it's the MTN8 final between Mamelodi Sundowns and Cape Town City. I don't think Mamelodi Sundowns have won this trophy. I think, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. But yeah, I don't think Sundowns. They haven't, eh?
No.
Oh yeah, well, now so welcome. Was fun All right. Now my competition facts. This will be the 14th edition of the MTN8 tournament. After sponsors MTN took over in 2008, it was announced in 2016 that MTN has extended their sponsorship of the competition for a further 6 years to 2022. Hey, so okay, wayidlala when MTN8 athi nama-stats wakho we-MTN8?
No, I played SA8.
Yo.
Yeah. Yeah, SA8.
Design
Coca-Cola Cup.
Yeah, SA8 Super 8.
Yes.
Yeah. Ah, shit. Hey, you're old.
No. I was introduced early. I'm not old. I was introduced early.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So did Chiefs win it when you were playing?
Yes, we did. Yeah. That was a shoes Karambe Suma.
Did you play or you were in the bench?
Say again?
Did you play or was it benching?
No, we go Landi Medan.
Oh, Landi Medan.
Yeah,
so Medan.
Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about ring that time, not a medal.
So ne ring.
Yeah.
Usayiphethe.
Hey, angazi somewhere.
All right. How important is this trophy for Sundowns?
I think it's very important, considering the fact that the trophy Kala Yabo under Ilukuzane, since it was changed from SAA8 to MTN8.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think for me it's very important. But the good part of it is that one of the coaches that is there, Mangoba, has won it before with Golden Arrows.
Yeah, and the Arrows. Why win the Arrows?
Yeah, why win an Arrows before? So I think it's a motivational factor on his side, whereby you know, or you'll have that memory when you were still at Arrows, how it felt to win it. So I'm sure now, we win again with other coaches that are there, which I feel maybe it's going to be their first ever MTN8 Cup for Steve no Rulani. So for
Steve. Steve assistant. I'm assistant or creditor. Must beg my record books, even when Sundowns was coached by Miguel Gamondi and Neil Tovey. I don't even remember who the assistant was. So Bonis with my assistant.
Yeah, I know, but once you move into a coaching space, we understand the importance of having an assistant coach, because an assistant coach, this is where players can blow their steam, their frustration, and somebody to talk to. And in terms of planning, a coach will always need that extra brain. How they're going to assess the game and how they feel they need to approach this game. So
for recognition.
Well, in recognition,
like I cannot in the bigger picture. Pelangien City coach Steve won the DSTV Premiership. We can't say that. Yeah.
But at this point, it's confusing because it's a new era whereby they are saying it's 4 coaches.
Ganjan.
So when it's called coaches, they're all regarded as like one.
Hey, Pella, that's Mangoba and coach Rulani.
Rulani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bonama co-coaches, so by totally recognition, not to coach.
Oh, I like
Hey,
it. Oh, it's
yeah, but
fine. Yeah.
when you're a coach from a head coach, do you think you would take anyway for Coach Steve, a man with so much experience as a head coach? I mean, he coached Kaizer Chiefs. Do you think Lenda Yenzile Sundowns it's a bit of a downgrade? I mean, he coached Kaizer Chiefs, one of the biggest teams in South Africa.
Well, it's a yes and no.
Yeah.
Sundowns offer, my yes is Sundowns offered a lot in the table in terms of the pedigree of the team, the setup. So if you would have went to a different team, it's a no. If you would have went to maybe Bloemfontein Celtics, for instance, or a Swallows, that would be maybe
to be assistant.
Yeah, to be an assistant, that would be a downgrade. But looking at the pedigree, because I think with Sundowns, they are trying to phase out coaches slowly. They introduce them into the system. I wouldn't give available to figure because already they had people that have been there longer, which is was Coach Mangova, it was Rolani, and then himself that was there. And all these coaches, they're all given each other opportunity. Steve gave an opportunity to Rolani with Platinum Stars. Mangova has assisted Steve to be at Sundowns because it feels as if he's the person that he trusts, that he can work with in achieving what the chairman wants. So for me, I think let's jump hand in hand. So for me, it wouldn't be a downgrade to say because anything can change, but it just leave one coach to always keep his eyes on his shoulders because tomorrow something can happen. Whereby if one is gone, then we can have the roles being defined. Mchubani head coach, Manjubani assistant. But
do you think a final say into how maybe the team plays with Coach Steve?
I think,
because the buck stops with the head coach.
But remember, again, it goes with Master Slater Flame, Sisi discussing that. Points that I will throw in. And if they're making sense, then we'll have to go with that plan. But Umuntu Zotata credit, he head coach, and that's going to be interviewed at the end of the match. But now being a coach, Kulume as if it's like a collective thing. But we know if we put 2 and 2 together, we'll understand what she's right by saying let's approach the game Ngalendle. And then we can also have our own informed decision, which this is what we see, what we feel, and this is how we should play. So when you put those together, when it comes to set piece, I'm sure there's a specialist, which maybe might be Rulani. When it comes to build up play, this is where we'll be Steve. When it comes to the incision area, whereby when our creativity needs to be applied, this is where the other coach takes in, Coach Manova. So each and every coach at that point, they have their own departments, but in that way, it's visible enough to see. Uguti Sundowns on build-up play, iyabonakala. On in the middle, iyabonakala. Forward, iyabonakala also. So each and everyone has a role to play in the results that they are getting.
Yeah. So you can tell the difference.
Yes, you do.
Can you see influence the coach Steve Khombela at Sundowns? And if so, in what way? Because Sundowns is a well-oiled machine. So ufike wayi-improve kanjani?
I think with existing structures, is just to polish maybe on some rusty areas. Which are those rusty areas? Maybe the players' mentality in terms of having to respect the job that they are in and perform for their families and know that they are building a brand. Because it's one person that is very, very, very strict when it comes to personal development. Hence, he will always have quotes or try to share something in terms of motivating players. So I think that's the department that he occupies mostly. And Coach Mangova being a family man, you will always bring that structure on knowing what to do, when and how. So that helps. And the integration also, Yarulan, it comes in the youthness being the age gap between the players and him. it's easy, it's relatable. Bayakwazi ukuthi bakhulume nawe benenkinga, or maybe they will run to him and then have an explanation on a person that is closer to their age. When it comes to Abo Steve and Coach Mangoba, it's always the way that is tested, trial and tested. And when they say do it this way, it's always the way that will always reap you a reward at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I think the impact here, Steve, is huge in a sense that they respect him. He's been around, he's played the game, he has coached at the highest level. And even though he doesn't have a lot of accolades to back that up, but I think his work ethics proves that for him.
Yeah. Okay, let's stay with Sundowns. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Sirino won't be available for tomorrow's final. I think he has a flu. I read somewhere. I think I read Mazola's article. Which players will be key tomorrow, considering that they are facing Cape Town City for Sundowns? Which players will be key for Sundowns? Let's start at Sundowns.
Well, I think for me, just for starters, I think they're spoiled for choice. The system that can be employed could be a 5-4-1 or a 4-4-3.
By Sundowns.
In the 5-4, Sundowns. In the 5-4-1, when they last played, they won 3-0, right? And I was looking at the result when they played against Cape Town City. They beat them 3-0. And that's a system that they applied last time.
Yeah.
So if they would play the same way, I fancy Onyango on goals. And then I see Lakay, Diruk, Kekana, Lunga, Shaulile, Zwane, Jali, Kutumela, and maybe Sefranco. So I think that's
your starting lineup. You see Sefranco starting?
Yeah, in a way, because I'm looking at the result when they last played them. He had a good game. They won 3-0.
When they played Cape Town City.
Yes, so I'm just making comparisons. So the expectation that I'm having, if Sundowns set up in a 4-5-1 in defense, I think the key players for me would be the Lakay, Kekane, the Rook. I think Onyango being the controller at the back. I think within that lineup, it offers confidence to Sundowns because all those players that are there are high in confidence. They understand exactly their roles on how they need to play, offering offensive play and also good on their 1v1s. So for me, I'm looking at Sundowns that is going to dominate this game as much as it's their first time in this competition. And for them, it gives them more reason to win it.
So sure, that lineup, I don't see Sefranco starting, eh?
Yeah, maybe I might omit him in a way because he's maybe one of the not the more convincing one, but I'm saying for a point of reference, my reason for my lineup is when they apply a 5-4-1. But should they change and play a 4-4-3, then there you must remove Sefranco, and then you can add Serino on that. Only that.
Yeah.
If you can change that. But I think they're playing mind games when they say Serino's got a flu or something. Nah.
Oh, you reckon he'll be...
I reckon they're playing mind games on that.
Yeah. So now let's talk... the Sundowns squad. My goodness. Sundowns Kemit Erasmus, who chances are he won't even start tomorrow. He might not even play. I see Give Mutuba. So tell me, a bit of drama. What happened to Uspelele Mkhulize? He played very well last season when they won the DSTV Prem. Even how they ended the season in the bubble, he played very well. But right now he fell off the pecking order. What do you think could have happened there? Did they change how they play so that it doesn't suit him somehow? What?
I think it's not a matter of him or he wasn't performing. I think just after when he came back from the COSAFA, I think that's when things went a little bit pear-shaped. Why was that? I think because I'm a player at the Velecon. I'm a player at the sale on pre-season. Maybe the understanding was much better in terms of how they want to set up moving forward with the squad. But him, you will always have a position. But to start, since these guys are well all together, let's give them maybe 1 or 2, 3 games. If any of these guys their wheels come off, then we can introduce him Kulis, because I also saw him on some games where he came on as a sub. He played very, very, very well. He also started one of the games. He played very well, but it still shows that now Sundowns has changed tone in the way how they are playing. So the players that they've introduced on the middle lane, going for more maturity, yes, with more consistency.
So who would you compare him to? So he's not a defensive midfielder, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can compare him to Hashim Domingo. Do you think they play the same position?
Yeah.
In that team?
I think.
What's the difference between the two?
Well, with Mkulisi, it's more energy, and also the technical ability on his side favors him. So is Hashim Domingos, very efficient, good on his 1v1, breaks down attack, reads the game well, get into half spaces, create opportunities for attackers to have more mobility moving forward. So I think that's maybe one of the things that is lacking Mkulisi, which is still growing in the game. He's still not that young, but I think he's growing. We saw in the Kosafa how he played. He was one of the players that was shining actually for Sundowns, where he picked up some men of the match also in those games. But coming back, now you're coming to a team that has players in abundance. So that also maybe might have worked on his game, where when you're away and then somebody takes on
position.
But so now you start thinking, hey, national team is good. But again, it's
and this was 5 people. Hey, una 25 lo baba. He's at his peak. If like let's say contract Pela at the end of this season, does he renew?
Yeah, for me, I think renewing.
Pela nabo Mabue ageko. He's injured. So you can imagine when Mabue comes back, like he goes further down the pecking order. Sanabo Kapinga.
Well, so, okay. Personal opinion.
Yeah.
How about for me, Namanji? I would say move towards a super sport, move towards a Cape Town City, move towards maybe a Swallows. Because you have established your name. Now players in the team know you, how you play, and what you can bring, what you can offer. So for me, Namanji, it's about him having to have more game time, because in our calendar in South Africa, when you reach 30, that's your sell date, your expiry date. So this 5 years that 5 years that is left, I think this is the time where he needs to move forward and try and find a team where he's going to be a first choice, because at Sundowns there's no first choice. You get injured or you are off you are relegated to the bench and somebody perform, they keep that winning mentality, they keep that winning squad. So chances of you breaking back again, because I mean Kulisi fell off just because he was at the national team level. When he comes back now, players
his place is gone.
Like
his place is literally gone, because he was first choice prior to that. He played regularly.
It's easy for Sundowns. I mean, like if per position they've got like 6 or 7 in a position, you must know whenever you are injured, you are praying. That even being on a bench, I think it's you are just fortunate to be part of that bench, because there are some good players that are still even at home that don't even that are as good as those who are starting.
Sure. Now, what will happen to Sfiso Ngobeni? He's a left back. I'm thinking ahead of him, there could be Obri Mudiba. There could be definitely Lyle Lake, 100% Lyle Lake is ahead of him. Who else plays left? Divine Lunga there. So he's like 3 He should have asked for a loan, most.
Yeah, I think for me, it goes back now to a manager. You start assessing the situation. You look at the player's age, and then you know that he's in a good contract. But what is important now is to maintain and make sure that the player is in good spirits. Because if he's not in good spirits, there's a lot that can go wrong. He can start developing attitude because he's not getting game time. He can be depressed. He can go into a dark space where no one can be able to help him. So I think it's a job where now his manager needs to sit with the management of Sundowns, and then they should arrange for him for a move where he's going to play and get game time, because Sundowns are good on giving 5-year contracts. So it's up to you on the 5 years. You work your socks, and then you can always come back to Sundowns. But staying there up until your contract expires, Sundowns don't mind. You can still train and still get paid. But at the end of the day, when that contract ends, there's a lot of players that are knocking on Sundowns' door that wants to participate and be part of Sundowns, that are playing week in, week out while you are not playing. So it's equally important for players to still assess. Remember, if you do not play and then you're asking for a loan, there are a couple of things that you are going out there to harness. You are trying to make sure that you get the confidence. They put you into a team that plays similarly to Sundowns, so that when you come back, you don't struggle. Now, when you are being loaned to a lower team, this is where you're going to build your confidence, and you are going to be the star player there. For example, Machaula, he went to Maritzburg, he shined, they got him back. Again, he played at Sundowns a little bit, and then again, they felt that the players that were competing with him, they were far stronger than him, and then they took him to Swallows again. And again, with Swallows,
but what are the chances that he'll come back? So he's not even starting at Swallows. But the thing is, at Sundowns, they'll probably buy another player who could be much better than him.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's fine for you, go for a loan. Because manje, uklala, you actually, it's like buying a car and parking it, and you're not driving it. So every time, now when other players are playing, they are putting themselves in a market from your position. So all those teams that are participating with PSN, chances are they might look for another left back while you are there, while they still have 3 more left backs. Because we're now down anyway. So what's the point? Rather go out there, you are a Sundowns material, you are a Sundowns player. So you being a Sundowns player, there's nothing that you need to prove. You just need to develop your weaknesses on the team that they've loaned you to. Get your confidence, build on the aspect where you are lacking. Then we're so right.
And he's 24. He's 24, so.
Yeah,
he's 24. Hey, you're telling me. But at 24, that's when you should be playing regular football.
And then you're looking at like who's 31.
Hey, you probably broke into the squad. Hey.
Yes. And then
but I think like he came in for Tebogo Langerman.
Yes.
In a way, sort of replaced Tebogo Langerman.
Yes, because they push Modiba up. Because Modiba can also play as a left back.
Yes, it's what I was saying. He's an option at left back as well.
For me, it's prudent. He should go for a loan. Otherwise, if he wants to stay there, yes, to get a salary on time every month, it's okay. But I think playing wise and for you to be happy and enjoy the sport, go out there and test yourself and see what you can achieve. Once you're outside your comfort zone, you can bring the best out of yourself. There's many players have done it before, so you should learn from that. Even though you are signed and you have a contract that's got like 5 years on it, it still doesn't matter. You can still say that they no longer need you, but they will still keep you and pay you your salary, and that's not what you want to say. Because you are robbing us of your talent. For you to be scouted by Sundowns, it means there's a potential. There's something that they've seen in you. So you are a player that will contribute towards our national team, and so when you go out there and play, we have a pool of players that can be selected for a national team.
Now let's talk about Umshishi. Umshishi, I think, is the only player that's almost guaranteed a place not almost, guaranteed a place in the lineup. He's injured. Maga right. He comes back to the team. Even if Nama yellow, he comes back to the team. Not even Serino gets a position like Umshish. Like he in Umshish later Sundowns, which makes him irreplaceable.
I think he brings order, creativity,
Is the team built around him?
Yes. The team is built
Sundowns is built around Umshish.
Yeah. Why? Because of the players' intelligence, the tactical awareness, the technique, the way how Sundowns play revolves under Mshishi. Because once he starts ticking, then you know Sundowns is going for a kill. And even when he's absent, they are players that do fill the space, but in a different way, not the same play that Mshishi brings into the game. So the comparison becomes far off. Even if Serino will be there, but if Mshishi is not there, you will not get those overloads on the side, the runs into the half space, interchanging of passes, trying to draw defenders out so then they can have spaces for Shaolile to run into, separating center backs so then they can gain access into the middle passage and having those lines being broken. So I think that's one of the players that has mastered the system of Sundowns on helping the team to tick. Whenever he's playing, he always will have those connections. And you see the amount of passes that Sundowns records on a match when he's available, because every time when the ball is there, it centers around him, and he seldomly loses the ball, which is one of the benefits when you're having a player of that magnitude.
So you mean to tell me if a team man marks Umshishi, Sundowns is going to have problems? We close down Umshishi, Sundowns is going to have problems.
There's no team that can close down Umshishi. Umshishi is clever. He's not a player that sits on one position. He moves around and finds spaces. He understands the line and the half spaces very well. So he plays njalo. It's not easy to Zoima. Because he creates spaces for himself.
Noma yophuza amanzi iplayer lahamba naye siyamenmaka baba.
Mamel, we had a team that used to master man marking, Platinum Stars and ETX Galaxy. They've been failing to do so when he was playing. They will still find those openings because he's one player that even if Uhambanai, that gives them an opportunity where Shaolile, the Serino will have those spaces. It's deliberate. So you are caught in between. Whether you go with him or you leave him, chances are he's going to create spaces for himself. So when you become a minus player, then that helps Sundowns to dominate you at that point.
Right now, if Mshishi was not available, who's the next best player at Sundowns in that position for Mshishi?
The player that I see that is growing leaps and bounds and in confidence, I'm thinking of Kapinga. I think Kapinga is best.
You think Kapinga can be?
Yeah.
Can play Mshishi's role.
Very good technique. Yeah, very good technique. Not afraid to take on players, the same as Mshishi. Knows the spaces as well, how to position himself. Maybe just a little bit of small areas to polish there and there, which cannot be compared to Mshishi because the amount of experience has brought him there, and he has played at the highest level for the longest of time. So being under Sundowns, winning trophies, winning the league, for him it's like something that he does on a daily. But for Kapinga, they still need to cement their position. Even with Serino, can take on that position. But sometimes I feel that he gets a little bit frustrated when players are only on him a lot, which is where Mshishi excels. Because even if he's man-marked, chances are you will find spaces to play. But other players, it gets a little bit frustrating for them when they no longer play their own game and then they are pushed into playing the opposition's game. Now that requires a player that is matured and a player that has been drilled, has been worked with, and has a better understanding on an offensive role. What are the key principles that needs to be applied?
If Sundowns don't win this thing tomorrow, would it be a failure on their part?
With the squad they have, I would say yes.
So Sundowns have to win this thing tomorrow.
Sundowns have to win it. They have not won it before, but playing against somebody that is good on cups and who is very, very, very tactical and direct. They are playing a coach that is going to try and minimize as much game flow as possible from Sundown. So what they will do is they might not maybe sit back, but what you would see tomorrow is an end-to-end counter-attack. And one of the team will have to push back and make sure that they minimize as many counterattacks as possible. If any team is successful on doing that, the game would be level. It will then now boil down to individual creativity and how they quickly find solution to opening up a team. Because I know, for instance, Eric Tinkler will come very direct with speed, always wanting to play on a counter. But the danger of playing in that way, it will always open you up. With them have conceded 3 goals on their last game when they played Arrows. Arrows plays almost the same type of football as Sundowns. It's just that Sundowns is bumped up more than Arrows. So meaning the interchanging of passes, the personality, the players that are being fielded on different positions are superior than the Arrows one. Not saying that Arrows players are not good, but I'm saying in terms of the tactical and the technical organization, they are more superior than the Arrows. So which means if they conceded all those 3 goals, this is where Sundowns will look into how they conceded those goals and they'll try and use that opportunity. As much as they scored 4, this is what Sundowns will also make sure that they try and work around the players that will give them a problem, which will be your Lakay, your Surprise, your Martins with speed, who's good on 1v1, who runs behind, your Surprise, who's skillful and good on 1v1, who always help them with creativity. And then you have your Mtansane, who's more offensive, play as a 10, links up play very well. And then again, you have a Mukeke, who's a good passer, protects the back four, and make sure that it breaks down attack. Now it's going to be a duel in the middle where you find if they're playing with a 4-4-3, this is why I said if Sundowns come with a 5-4-1, it's going to be easy to dissolve that because they're going to overpower them on many fronts, in defense, in the middle. So when they playing when on build-up attack, they will try and get as many numbers as possible for a counter press. And once we have that counter press, then Sundowns will have an opportunity to use Shaolile to bypass the counter press by playing behind the city. And also with Mkhize, always a player that likes to venture forward. He's good on his 1v1, but his recovery at late hasn't been good. But he offers a lot of attacking options, which will help in packing the middle, as when Cape Town will apply the 3 in the middle. When you're having Mkhize that will push up into a more offensive, then you still have a 4, and then we have Tanzania that will always play behind Lakay and Surprise and Martin. With that speed up front, I'm hopeful that those 3 coaches have actually put up a plan in terms of how they're going to stop that. Me looking at the game, I think they're going to try as much as possible not to go on a high line because they know their speed. So maintaining a low block will help them in terms of in a way where they're going to build up play slowly and force City to come and press.
Oh, so you're saying Sundowns will, chances are they'll play with a low block.
Yeah.
Yeah. With his speed, yeah.
Lake, Martin, Surprise, and Mtanzani coming as a 10, and an aggressive Nodada, Mashego also
but
on the
Sundowns doesn't play low blocks, so am I missing something?
No. Remember, the game varies. When they play low block, it's just to search a team on how they play. So you cannot play a high line with a team that is the team that has speed. If you're going to apply a counter press, that means you are applying a higher line. So I don't think they're going to take that risk knowing that this team that they are playing against has speed. So not a low block, a mid-low block. So when they play mid-low block, it's just this is when they're going to use a little bit of Onyango to be the sweeper guy.
Yeah,
but not as
sweeper
deep as
keeper.
sitting on their own box. Not as deep as sitting on their own box.
Then then how will City approach? Do you think City will sit? What if both teams do this low mid block? How will the game look like?
They won't. Eric likes playing direct. They won't. Eric likes playing direct, and he always requires crosses.
You think he's got like Eric is gonna go for it tomorrow?
Yes, he's gonna
against Sundowns.
He's gonna force Sundowns to make mistakes on the first half. Remember, Eric's way of planning for the games, he always divides the game into 15 minutes. So the first 15 minutes would be a high pressure game. They will try and press Sundowns and see if they break. The second 15 minutes is to analyze now and start responding to what Sundowns is trying to ask you. And then the last one is now all about having to maintain and grasp what they brought and how now you need to play. Immediately when you go to halftime, that's your first 15 minutes where you need to start higher up, change the gear. As the same as Sundowns, they'll always apply the same tactics. They don't go at you first minute. The first minute is they will try and apply their counter press, and they'll see the second 15 minutes, then they will talk to them that it's not working, the counter press, because we're having too many gaps and our lines are very wide apart. So once the lines are tighter and they synchronize the counter press, then they will stick to that and then they'll try and have overloads on certain positions.
So, I know every team has it's a game of two halves and it's 90 minutes. Every team always stands a chance to win, But against Sundowns, do you think Cape Town City stand a chance?
In a cup final, everything is possible. I think at this point, Sundowns is under pressure because they have not won this cup and they will want to break that and make sure that they win this one. With Eric, he understands this. He understands being in the cup final, not as much as the other gentleman, because it's only Mangoba there that has been a cup winner who has won this cup. So them going head to head. For Mangoba, it's more like having to win it for the second time. For Rulani, it's about winning it for the first time. So City will fancy their chances. They will want to go at it because, they went this far. For them to hold back, it's not going to make sense. Why not try and push Sundowns to the last minute and see how they're going to play? Because they are more under pressure than City. Sundowns have to win it because they've not won.
City must throw the kitchen sink at Sundowns. Everything they have, like normally.
Everything that they have to Sundowns to put them under pressure because they're gonna play with a lot of caution. Because to them, again, it's gonna look like a fade. It's gonna be like a fade with the
if they don't win it.
If they don't win it.
If they don't win it. And how they started.
Yes, and how they started. So you look at them, they're there at the top and they're playing against that is sitting position 7. Sundowns has not lost the game. They only drew 1 and won the rest. So with City, not the same could be said. Not the same. We cannot say the same with City. So they have Sundowns has a lot to lose than City. City, they are not sitting. They are not in a good position in the league. So this is their only chance. where they're in a cup final. So why not go all the way out? Because there's no holding back. It's not like there's a first round and a second round. You go in this one, you win this one. Just throw in everything that you have on Sundowns.
So tell me, from City's side, if you had to pick one player who will make a difference, who will it be?
I think the player that will make a difference, it will be Rulani. I'm fencing a Rulani.
Surprise Ralani.
Yeah, surprise Ralani.
Yeah.
Tanzania. Lakay.
And
Martin. Yeah, I'm looking at those players. Why I'm saying
Craig Martin.
I'm looking at the Craig Martin. He scored on the 4-3. I'm looking at him. Tanzania is high in confidence. He scored also, and also he's been included on the squad. So what a way for him! What a way for him to make sure that the coach picks him while playing on the cup final. If he has a very good cup final, surely he's going to be on a 23-man squad. And also, LK scored also against Arrows. So also he's also in the national team.
Yeah.
So all those players, I'm betting on them to have a very, very good game, because there's also be a scout that is looking to put a final decision on their names when they do well on this game.
So it's not a foregone conclusion that Sundowns will win tomorrow.
On paper, yes. On paper, yes. But for City to be where they are today, it shouldn't be undermined. And I'm sure those coaches have huge respect for City and Eric and the boys, the Cape Town City boys. As much as City has more respect for Sundowns, with the pedigree that they have and their good run in the league. Remember, a league has its own atmosphere compared to the cup. So they can be having a good run on the league, but the cup, both these teams are in the final, meaning that there's something that they've done right to eliminate the other teams that were in the competition. So it's do or die for them. So one will say, yes, the Sundowns is favorable to win, but I think also a City will come in to try and disrupt the moving train of Sundowns in a way that if they lose this one, it will prove to teams that Sundowns could be taken down from the top.
It's beatable. So I'm telling you, benenzani which before the final. Ben light in pepper or in jump on primer stove.
Hey, Baba, we need to do a special project. I want to do a special project.
Yeah.
We have the lap. This is where we go for a nice shower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Land camper gone.
Yeah, there's a special room. It is the kit manager. This is where all the magic happens. So whether or not in any other room.
Yeah. My exas has kulumi ngayo.
Ay, no. Exactly. That's the essence of like ukemba. The importance of ukemba is so that it's to build team spirit and also be in line with the rituals that the club do on matches, finals, whatever the case might be. Because coming from wherever you're coming from or at home, and then coming to mix with players that have camped, it's bad energy. So whatever that is being practiced there, we don't even know the guys that are not even on the 18 wins what. Ascelani ukuthi manje sesiyofutha or sesiyojumpa.
Sekunembiza la.
Hayi, awuyisho leyo nto leyo. Uyathula. Then uzoza sikhulume kusasa.
Ufa ngendaba.
Ngeza ngayizolo iyaluma nanamanje. Baba, futhi.
So kusasa kuyanyiwa.
Kusasa kuyaniwa lapho kufana be-Cape Town bazobe Limpopo blind. Bazoba wena. Bazoba dizzy. Oqala bavule 15 minutes.
Ngiyababona next.
Uzozwa wena. Mara ngeke sazi. Nabo abelungu banento yabo base-Cape Town. Bazoshaya i-Sundowns.
Hey, Sundowns dizzy nayo.
Hey, that's why sometimes ninazobuka ama-player nithi, hey, lo muntu wenzani? Why engacontrol iball? You will be surprised ukuthi ubona into e-wrong yena egroundini. Uyabaleka and then ufike le player leni iyaboza.
Alikho mnandi.
After game, athi kimi endoda, yazi ngibona ikati liza kimi. Ngithi ngiyathi ubona umuntu kumele athi strap ibhola. Ubona inyoni then umbona adaka wathi, hey, wenzani lo? Awazi ngokutshela after game ukuthi kwenzakalani.
Hayi asishiye ithini prediction fast.
Yeah, no, Sundowns will win. I think maybe they will win by 2 goals.
Yeah. All right. We see you also on YouTube. Hunadi Mashayela. Thank you for joining us. Sundowns win. Team do not come to the party when playing against Sundowns. Kaya Mhlongo. I know my team, Mamelodi Sundowns, won't disappoint me tomorrow. We're going all out. Good luck to both teams. May the best team win. Thank you, Soso, for entertaining us today. And thank you to everybody who joined on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you after the match, after the final, as we break down.